Hello there. I didn't know you had arrived already. Welcome, fans of Comic Impact. It's Rick Hansen here again for your Smash of the Month for May of 2014. I'm just here on a beautiful Chicago day enjoying a little sun and a little bit of reading. But that's why we're all here, because we love reading comics, and I'm here to bring you the best thing of all of last month. Now, it's been incredibly difficult to keep picking the best thing because all the comics just keep getting better and better. And it's so difficult to find just the best thing to happen in comics. For example, out of Image Comics, we had Warren Ellis's Trees come out with Jason Howard last month, which is a very creepy science fiction story of alien invasion. From Vertigo, a DC publisher, which I don't really read much DC, I'm not impressed by much by DC, so this means that it's very special. We have The Wake number 8 that came out last month by Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. It's a 10-issue series, and it can be a little bit jarring because you spend the first 5 issues in modern times and the second 5 issues in the future, where you have a bunch of scientists who go down to the bottom of the ocean and they have found a new life form that nobody's ever seen before, and it turns out that this life form emerges to the surface and basically takes over the entire world. And the second 5 issues focus on what that world becomes and what humanity becomes in that wake. So hence the name. And it's a really great story. It's probably going to be a good contender for my book of my series of the entire year, and I really recommend checking it out. And then we have the Smash of the Month, which is by Image Comics, no surprise there, and Mr. Mark Millar. Now, Mark Millar is very hit or miss for me. I really enjoyed his work on the Ultimates and on Civil War, but not so much on Kick-Ass and Nemesis. The violence for the violence sake story is not something I really ever got much of a feel for. And I know that a lot of people do like Kick-Ass, and they made a couple movies, so it's not a slam against it, just not my taste. But now he's working on some things for Image which are really hitting all my buttons. The first one is Jupiter's Legacy, which is into its 4th or 5th issue right now, and I can't believe it hasn't been a Smash of the Month yet because it's so good. I'm really enjoying that. A brand new series just launched by Mark Millar from Image called MPH, which is all about having a drug that gives people super speed, and it's a very interesting take on that. And then the actual pick of the month is Starlight number 3. So Mark Millar teams up with Goran Parlov in this story, which basically takes a character like John Carter of Mars or Flash Gordon and ages them 40 years, 50 years into the future, and they're retired, they're living their life on Earth, and they get called back to the planet that they originally saved. He gets called back because that planet's been conquered and it's being pillaged and it's being put into ruins by this warlike alien race. And his name is Duke McQueen. It has a slow start at the beginning, but very captivating. It really draws you in, it hooks you, and then he's called back into action. You really get to see a lot of very strong colors and line work, and it really paints a great picture. Not as detailed as some art, but it gives you a real strong sense for this world, and creates a stark contrast as to how things are on Earth. This violence in the book that is different from like Kick-Ass and Nemesis, where it's not for just violence sake. It actually serves a purpose. When the bad guys get violent, it's to show how bad they are and evil, but not so much, not just excessive, but more of has a point to it. And then when the good guys get into action, like Duke McQueen, you end up rooting for him. In fact, there's one scene where he gets brought back to the planet, and he's supposed to be laying low until they get him to the underground resistance so that he can lead a recapturing of the planet from the bad guys. But as soon as he sees some police officers pummeling an innocent bystander, he has to jump into action, and they're beating this citizen up underneath this giant statue of Duke McQueen, which they built after he originally saved the planet. And he steps in, he says, leave this guy alone. And they say, well, who are you to tell us what to do? And he says, me? I'm that guy. And he points to the statue of himself, and things just take off from there. It stretches credulity a little bit because you got this older man and he just gets onto this plane, he starts kicking butt, and you know, he's a real action star. He gets a little winded because of his age, but you know, he's a real hardcore bad dude. So it's really enjoying, and you root for him. But if it's anything like John Carter of Mars, you know, you're stronger when you're on the other planet than you are on Earth. So you can kind of rationalize it that way. But you know, eventually he does get into some serious trouble, and he ends up getting captured, and he meets some interesting characters. But and then the issue ends up with an appearance by somebody who resembles a kind of a Han Solo, a female Han Solo, who is she's getting the information about him being captured, and you know, he's going to be executed tomorrow, and she's like, all right, I'm ready, let's go get him, let's break him out, and it ends off there. So it's all the right pacing. Every issue is worth reading, not just in the trade, so I definitely recommend picking up Starlights #3 as well as issues 1 and 2. You can still get them on Comixology and other places. And that's it for me this month. You guys have a great summer, and I will be back to show you what is the best comic or comic related thing in all of June. So smash on, folks.